I used to work in radio, and in this video I share 4 industry tips that will help you become a better YouTube creator. Better Echoes is all about improving ourselves so we can uplift all. You're awesome, let's dive in. Tip number 1, when scripting your video, write like you're speaking to only one person, not a whole audience. Each viewer should be treated like they are the only one. Your viewer is probably not watching your video with a bunch of friends around. They're probably watching it alone somewhere, like in bed or on lunch break or doing chores, making dinner, on the toilet, more than likely, or listening in the car. If your viewer is watching alone, doesn't it sound kind of weird for them to hear something like, "Hey guys," or "What's going on everybody," or "Sup y'all?" Imagine walking up to your friend and being like, "Hey guys," and then your friend kind of looks around confused like, bro, are you good? Because you know it's just me here, right? Are you seeing things? Now, I know that you're addressing your whole audience when you film, but I think it adds a nice personal touch to speak directly to one person rather than 100. Talk to an individual, not an amphitheater. Now, the main difference between radio and YouTube here is that YouTube viewers do value their community sometimes, so they probably don't mind being addressed as one large plural. But I'm just throwing this out there as something that you might want to try. It's a great idea, and speaking solely to one person is a psychological move that can make a viewer feel like there's a stronger bond between themselves and the creator. So it's definitely worth trying out. I think that this minor adjustment is a great way to build rapport between you and your viewer. Now notice I said you and your viewer, not you guys and your viewers. It feels a bit more personal, doesn't it? Tip number 2, know your audience. Now I'm going to be taking 2 very different approaches on this one. Approach number 1, know your audience, as in know who they are and what they enjoy. That way you can tailor your content to what they appreciate, thus making them feel like they're getting more value from your videos. And that, in turn, will most likely result in more subscribers, more watch hours, and more ad revenue. And approach number 2, know your audience, as in know who humans are and what humans enjoy, not just your specific audience. For example, people really like feeling good, smart, relatable, understood, and they love being entertained. If you understand your audience in both of these ways and then provide for them as such, I'm sure that'll turn into a more loyal viewership for you. Tip number 3, be brief. Get in and then get out. My boy Shakespeare said, "Brevity is the soul of wit," which basically means be brief and you'll appear smarter. Now that's awesome advice. Don't just talk to hear yourself talk, and don't just take up a whole lot of time just to get to 8 minutes worth of video so you can run mid-roll ads. That's super annoying. Sure, there's room for art in your writing, absolutely do that, but don't bore someone to death while they're waiting for the good stuff. Make sure that there's a lot of value packed into that waiting time before you get to the coconut whipped cream and cherry on top. How to know you're listening to a vegan 101. Also, generally it's a good idea to plan out your videos so you don't just aimlessly maunder on. Now there's definitely a place for ramble videos, 100%, they can be super honest, but your viewer can always tell when you didn't plan. Script your videos well and your viewer will stay engaged for longer. They don't want to listen to you try to find your way around to getting to the point potentially at some point this afternoon at a very specific time, but we're not quite sure when that's going to be. Do you hear how that kind of sounds? That's how ramble videos land on people sometimes. Your audience doesn't want that. They want concise value. You can use bullet points or full scripts, just don't use nothing. Being brief is also critical because attention spans are shrinking like crazy. The less time it takes you to get to the point, the more of your message they'll hear. You are up against Gen Z with an 8-second attention span, which is totally bonkers, millennials with a 12-second attention span, a whole extra 4 seconds, Gen X with an attention span of exactly 1 Simpsons episode, and boomers, I'm sorry, my attention span ran out, so I don't have numbers for you. I'm just kidding, I couldn't find any numbers. This kind of worries me. I feel like the next generation, whoever's after Gen Z, is gonna have like a blink attention span, like, nah dude, they blinked wrong. I really don't have time for that kind of blinking. I'm not watching. Lord have mercy. Anyways, Sean Cannell from Think Media says, be brief, be bright, be fun, and be done. This phrasing hits the nail squarely on the head, so keep this in mind when writing your videos. Be brief, be bright, be fun, and be done. And ironically enough, being brief turned out to be the longest point in this video. Tip number 4, when delivering your content to the camera, pretend like you're talking to a friend of yours. This should help you feel more comfortable and not get so much stage fright. And it'll also help your personality shine through a little bit, which people really enjoy. And most importantly, it'll keep you from sounding boring. You ever hear somebody awkwardly deliver a report or a speech in high school? It probably sounded kind of like clunky, monotonous, and unlively, and like they were just reading off a page. That boring voice that you remember, you're like, oh my goodness, when is this gonna be over? And in summation, to amalgamate the information that I summarized in this area of my report, penguins I have found are the best type of penguin in Antarctica. But then you hear them talking to their friend and they're upbeat and comfortable and sound totally natural. Well, that is the difference between talking to your camera and reading off a teleprompter, or talking to a friend of yours. Just be yourself. Be the person you are when you're chatting with the person that you're most comfortable with, and then watch your videos improve. Keep these points in mind as you make your videos. Talk to one person, not 100. Know your audience. Be brief and pretend like you're talking to a friend. I hope that these radio industry ideas truly help you on your YouTube journey. Remember, do something that makes the world a better place this week. People need you. You are the better Echo. Subscribe, like, get a sticker at the link below, or watch one of these, and I'll see you next time.